Florida rental laws set expectations for landlords and tenants regarding lease agreements and evictions. This video examines Florida's statutes for standard lease agreements, month-to-month lease agreements, and evictions. We're eForms, the largest online database of fillable legal forms. Check out the link below to access a fillable lease agreement template. First up, what are some different types of lease agreements? Standard lease agreement. A standard lease agreement is the most commonly used contract. It allows the landlord and tenant to agree to binding terms regarding a rental property. Standard agreements often last for one-year terms. Month-to-month lease agreements. A month-to-month lease is also known as an at-will tenancy. It is precisely what it sounds like, a contract between a landlord and tenant that automatically renews monthly. In Florida, either party can terminate the lease with at least 15 days notice. Before we move on, let's cover required disclosures that you need to know before renting out a property. The state of Florida requires all rental agreements to include the following 6 disclosures. Identification. The property owner has to list their information or that of an authorized agent who can access the premises and receive notices on their behalf. Fire. All buildings more than 3 stories high must include a fire protection notice. Lead-based paint. This is a federal requirement for properties built before 1978 that may contain lead-based paint. Radon. A statement about radon gas is required to include in every Florida lease agreement. Security deposit. When a tenant pays a security deposit, there is specific language that has to be included in the agreement. Security deposit receipt. Disclaim that within 30 days of receiving a deposit, the landlord will provide the tenant with a security deposit receipt identifying where it is being held and whether or not it will accrue interest. You can find more on required disclosures, including template language, at the link in the description below. Next, let's look at landlord access. A landlord can access a rental property after providing at least 24 hours notice to the tenant. They can only enter a rental property during reasonable hours, generally 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. They can only enter under one of the following 4 circumstances: direct tenant consent, emergencies, unreasonable withholding of consent by the tenant, or the tenant's undisclosed absence for half the time frame of periodic payments. Now for security deposit laws. Florida doesn't set a maximum amount landlords can request for security deposits. Generally, 1 to 2 months rent is standard. When a tenant moves out, the landlord has 15 days to return their deposit in full, or 30 days if they have to make appropriate deductions. Finally, let's talk about eviction laws. There are 3 legal reasons for eviction in Florida. Non-payment of rent. When a tenant fails to pay rent on time, a landlord can send this notice giving the tenant 3 days to either pay the rent in full or vacate the property. Non-compliance. When a tenant breaches the lease agreement, the landlord can send this notice giving the tenant 7 days to fix the breach or vacate the property. Month-to-month tenancy. When a landlord and tenant sign a month-to-month lease agreement, either party can terminate it at any time with at least 15 days notice. Before we go, where can you find legal documents online? If you're in need of a lease agreement, disclosure, eviction notice, or any other form, we have thousands of state-specific, ready-to-go templates available for you to download, with no membership or credit card required. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more videos on everyday legal topics.